Hello again, and welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Royal Report. I am your Royal 2IC, and full disclaimer, and this one might be full of disclaimers, by the way. This is going to be probably my first controversial, edgy video, to the point of I hesitated making it, but I felt the need that it's important enough. It needs to get out. Not trying to be dramatic, not trying to, run up clicks, but this one might be one that gets reported, gets removed, gets something. I might get a channel strike. I don't know, but here we go. All right, so while doing some research, I stumbled upon a news clip. Now I'm going to be playing this clip, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the clip, and then we'll get into the video. Now, looking up, because I spent some time trying to make sure that I am legal in all of this. So I'm going to put the disclaimer here, and I'm going to be using the Fair Use Act. And this is going to be because I'm going to play a video from MSNBC and the Fair Use Act, which will permit me to use this clip, this news clip, on the principle and purpose for criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, and research. And boy, do I have some criticism and comments, and this is kind of my own little non-professional news reporting. So I feel that I fall in lines at least with that guidelines. So there you go. There's disclaimer number 2 we're on now. All right, so it's a short clip. Watch this.
And things Donald Trump could do, bubble wrapped in legalese, that would be damaging to the republic. And one of those that I've noted is there's something in the White House called the Doomsday Book. And for the first time, DHS gave authorization for me to mention this publicly. And the fact that there are concerns that that book, which is supposed to be used to protect the country in instances of armed foreign invasion or rebellion, it's the president's most extraordinary powers, could be picked up by Trump and used for domestic political purposes. He could invoke powers we've never heard a president of the United States invoke, potentially to shut down companies or turn off the internet or deploy the U.S. military on U.S. soil.
All right, so there you have it. Yeah, there's probably quite a few of trigger words in there that is probably going to catch the algorithm, and we'll see. If you get to see this whole video, congratulations. And especially if you catch this video a couple of days after it's posting, congratulations, and congratulations, for everything. The very first thing is I want you to think about timing. So in that, the person, which he is the former chief of staff for the Department of Homeland Security, okay? And he said that the department gave him for the first time the authorization to even mention the Doomsday Book. Now, there's actually a different name for it, but I'm sure they're doing it to get everybody kind of drone up on this, that, oh no, it's a Doomsday Book, okay? So, one, I want you to think about timing. With everything that's going on, with the things that are coming up, and we're talking about, actual things, not, predictive things or might or anything like that. The things that happen every 4 years and all the different things, that's circulating right now. And then, of course, the Netflix movie that came out that was on a certain topic. The timing of this is incredible, okay? And this whole video, just for disclaimer number 3, is my opinion, okay? So, not giving you any professional advice. Next, I want you to think about projection, okay? If I'm doing something and I don't want anybody to, suddenly find out what I'm doing. You project it on somebody else, so that way if they come back and go, "No, you're doing it," well, then it makes that person look bad because you're the first one to come out. So projection came to mind while watching that. And then the third thing is it gives an awful lot of convenience. And let me tell you why when it comes to convenience. So, in this book of the Doomsday Book, it basically contains a thing called PEADS. PEAD. Okay. Now, PEADS stands for Presidential Emergency Action Documents. And they are basically pre written authorizations that can be invoked under extreme situations, or at least that's what the intent was for, was extreme situations. Now, it will basically grant the president like full on extraordinary powers. And yes, the person that you just saw was being overly dramatic, but in the same sense, uh, it was a pretty secretive book. I've seen the thing pop up here and there. Probably started maybe a year ago or so, but I didn't see much on it, and it was hard to kind of research and things like that, at least on my end. Now, the person said that they were granted authorization to speak about it. Now, the big thing on it is that it was because it was all classified. Now, they recently, or not, relatively recently, redacted some of these PEDs or unclassified. And a lot of them, at least the ones that I can find, do have redactions in them. So you kind of have to read around the black of it. But the ones that I found on the declassified ones that they have released to the public, if you read kind of between the lines, because you can't read it completely straight through, these hint at enabling the power to detain dangerous persons. Okay, unilaterally, just, hey, you're dangerous, you're detained. It also lets the White House censor news media, okay, without any legal repercussions or any, you know, questioning or anything. It has the power to take over social media. Okay, now granted, let me backtrack again. Hint at it, okay? So the way that you can't read it full context, it hints at the power to do all this stuff. Um, it hints at the power to suspend American traveling. And then the one that I saved for last, which is the one that I said for timing, for projection, and convenience, is it hints at the power to flip an internet kill switch. Very interesting on timing. Very interesting on projection. Very interesting on convenience. Okay. Now, again, all opinionated. All of this is my opinion. So let me kind of round this out, because I promise you this is a prepping channel, so this comes back into prepping. So, as I said, the creation of this book was meant for just extraordinary threats. I mean, just the ones that has like that 1% chance of ever happening. And that's basically things of like enemy forces targeting, like really boots on ground, coming in and taking out members of government. That is an actual direct hit, taking out the capital, taking out DC. And then kind of the ever popular democracy in danger. Okay. Uh, there's a lot to go into this. There's a lot to unravel. And being on YouTube, I'm trying to be extremely careful and walk on some eggshells. Um, there might be a Rumble video. I do have an account over on Rumble. I may put one out over there because it's a little bit freer of speech. And it's videos like this that I see why some of these people have that paywall, so that way they can go to different platforms and really be able to speak their mind without any sort of repercussion or anything like that. But these peds win and vote. There is no checks and balances. There is no congressional oversight. Once a ped is invoked, and you can go back, some of these, I mean, they were looking at doing a bunch of things all the way back to, I know the Bush era and some of that stuff. They were looking into a lot of things. There was even talk, if you can remember that far back, when they were saying that they wanted to look into the legal aspect of suspending habeas corpus. Okay, and that was all over the Guantanamo Bay stuff that was going on after 9/11 and then all those events. Okay, the way that this ties into prepping, because I said I was going to come full circle. I know doing shows like on the economy, doing shows kind of like this one where it's political, and I don't want to get political. I'm not saying vote for this guy, don't vote for that guy. I don't care who you vote for. Okay, I really don't. But politics shape what goes on, and you, whether you like it or not, you have to pay attention to politics, because you have to pick and choose your battles and what you do. Now, another disclaimer, I told you it's going to be full of disclaimers. I am by no means saying go do anything, giving you any sort of professional advice. Whatever you do is on your own thing. You're a grown adult watching this, so you make your own decisions. You're just listening to me for entertainment purposes, okay? You have to watch when it comes to all of the things when it comes to this, because if they come in and they tell you that you can't collect rainwater, whether you do or don't, that's your choice, okay? And whether you fight back against it, whether you just say, no, it's my property, I'm going to collect the rainwater because it falls, from the heavens, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's whatever you do on that, okay? But it affects, because whether it is a just law or an unjust law, it comes down to the man-made law and the repercussions of it. Everything has a consequence, whether that's a positive consequence or a negative consequence. And so if it comes down to this, okay, now remember projection. This guy, not mentioning names, they're using this to say that if this guy gets elected, he could do this. My question is if you're so worried about one person, one individual, they were never worried about all the people beforehand. They're not worried about the one in office now enacting one of these or multiple of these PEDs. Could they do it? Well, if that guy can, then yeah, this guy can too. Or 5-10 presidents from now could invoke one at any time, because they can just say, hey, I've perceived that there's a national emergency of whatever, and I'm going to shut down the internet. So it all comes around. You got to pay attention to it to know what's coming down the pipeline, so that way it gives you a better chance to prepare for it. And that's what a lot of us do. We check the headlines, so that way we can see what's going on locally, regionally, nationally, globally, because the more information you have, the better you can prepare for a situation. You do it with the weather. Why wouldn't you do it with everything that you possibly can at your disposal? Meaning, why wouldn't you pay attention to what's going on in the news? Now, I'm not saying you have to sit here and watch every news clip there possibly is. That would be extremely boring, time consuming, and probably a waste of time in most cases. But in times like this right here, it's very interesting. Okay. And I think it's something that we need to pay attention to. There's a lot more that I want to say. There's a lot more I want to share. But in the interest of trying to keep my channel, because I have a lot of other information and other things, I would like to keep my channel. So uh, for now, I'm just going to stop this one so that way you're aware of it. If this interests you, then I suggest you start researching it, because now that this is out, you have to ask yourself, why now? Why all of a sudden now is this being brought out into the public sphere? Why are we getting to know about it? And especially mainstream media. So it's probably a matter of time before you start seeing this being talked about all over the place. So, all right, I'm done because I want to try and keep my channel. I know there's going to be a few of you. It's going, no, I want to hear it, or no, tell me more, or don't be afraid of whatever. And okay, I get it. I'm just making an adult decision, and I think I've toe tapped the line of where I probably should be. So we'll see what happens. If nothing happens, then I'll do another video and share more. Maybe we'll edge closer to that line and see what happens. All right, so maybe more information on this one to come, but definitely on other information, there's going to be a lot more to come. So thank you so much for tuning in, and just remember, above all else, especially now, remember to remain united, because we're all prepping in this together.